We're barely 48 hours away from the Super Bowl being finished and the Bengals losing. And the Bengals already putting that loss in the rear view, looking towards building on what they have and hoping to get back to the title game. Free agency is coming, and that means we're start getting franchise tags handed out. Who are the Bengals looking at?
Well, the real only franchise tag candidate there in Cincinnati is safety Jessie Bates. And I'm not sure that they ultimately will do it, but you have to break it down from all sides. You have a Cincinnati Bengals team that has about $57 million or so in cap space for 2022. We know that they have to fix the offensive line. They're going to try to do it in free agency. They're going to try to do it through the draft. They also are probably going to get another $10 million in cap space once they cut Trey Waynes, a guy that they paid a lot of money to a couple of years ago, and he hasn't really seen the field. So for all intents and purposes, the Cincinnati Bengals have just under $70 million in cap space. So what are they going to do with it? As I mentioned, of course, the offensive line they're going to want to pay. As it relates to Jessie Bates, this is a guy who he admitted that he was upset, he was miffed that he didn't get his contract extension last offseason. That played into his mind and led to some poor play about midway through the season before he finally said, listen, I have to put that in the past. I just have to play my best ball and play his best ball he did in the postseason. Is Jessie Bates deserving of a big-time contract? I absolutely believe so. In fact, I think Jessie Bates and his representation go there with Budda Baker's contract that was signed a year ago and say, this is the one that we want, but that's the baseline, really. That's what they walk into the building with. And of course, Budda Baker's representation is the same as Jessie Bates. And so will the Cincinnati Bengals ultimately want to do that? This is historically a cheap franchise. This is not one that normally pays a number of free agents. They have taken care of internal free agents, but not always in this way. This represents a potential change, an evolution for the Bengals. They have Joe Burrow on his rookie deal for at least another year. They want to get back to the Super Bowl. They know they have to pay their guys, and they have to bring in offensive linemen, no question about it. And so when you look at this, are they going to ultimately reach a contract extension with Jessie Bates, or are they going to slap the franchise tag on him before the February 8th deadline and then decide, listen, we have until July 15th to work out a long-term deal. At worst, you're going to be paid around $15 million for 2022, and we'll figure this all out later. That is all to be determined, but I would not at all be surprised if by the time we get to the franchise tag deadline on February the 8th, that the Cincinnati Bengals have tagged Jessie Bates.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.